You are listening to Thrival Nutrition Podcast, Episode 3.
Thanks for tuning in to the Thrival Nutrition Podcast with Lahana Vigliano, where she teaches you how to take back your health with real food. Lahana is a holistic nutritionist that holds a degree in nutrition science, and she studies sports nutrition through the International Society of Sports Nutrition. Lahana founded Thrival Nutrition to share her expertise through podcasts, webinars, group plans, ebooks, one-on-one coaching, and more. Here is your host, Lahana Vigliano.
Hi guys, we are interviewing Amy today, who has certifications in holistic and integrative medicine. Let's go chat. Hi, Amy. Thank you so much for coming today. I am so excited to start this interview with you.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
Awesome. Let our listeners know who you are and what you do.
So I'm Amy Jo. I am the owner of Soul Paint Co. You can find it at soulpaintco.com. And I work with brand new female entrepreneurs, kind of helping them get into alignment and building their business so that they can make the biggest splash once they launch. I fully believe in, being fully in alignment. And so my core belief and kind of how I like to run my business is talking about the 5 hot spots is what I like to call them. And what that is, it's like the 5 biggest areas of our life. And I kind of narrowed those down to health and wellness, emotional well-being, relationships, career, spirituality. And so I fully feel that when all of those are in alignment, that's when everything kind of soars. And so what I have found, especially these days, is that women and some men, but I focus mainly on women, the career aspect, a lot of them don't really like what they're doing. They don't really like the career avenue that they have chosen, or maybe they are sitting on an idea of running their own business, but they've been kind of stuck in fear of like stepping out and really going for it. And so when that, career hotspot, if you want to call it that, when that's kind of out of alignment, it affects every other area. So it affects our health because we're stressed. We probably don't sleep well because we're thinking about, money or our career or what we have to do at work the next day, things like that. Emotionally, we're worn down. Our relationships suffer because we're irritable. We have more anxiety, things like that. And then as far as spirituality, for me, that's like your connection to something bigger than yourself. So no matter what you believe, having that kind of grounding is huge. And so I really like to focus on the career aspect. So like the building blocks of, starting your business, because I think that's super empowering and it's really fun too. So that's a little bit about what I do and who I am.
That's awesome. I love the whole body approach because it's so true. To have one thing, you have to do the other. It's all about balance to achieve the ultimate wellness. And that's why it's kind of like health and fitness. You can't exercise out of a bad diet. You need both. You need to be doing both. Yeah. So can you dive into what each of these hotspots really mean?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I would love to. So I kind of have them broken down in the 5 different areas. So the health and wellness. So that's what you're eating, your exercise, your fitness, how your body feels to you, how you nourish your body. That's taking into account, like the healthy plate. So you have your proteins, your fats, your carbs, all of that fun stuff. Staying kind of away from the fast food, making sure you're getting enough water. And I think, water is huge. And I feel like it's really underrated. There's so many delicious drinks out there, but water is huge. Like your body is mostly water. And emotionally, like we feel drained, we feel tired, and a lot of that can be traced back to water. So that's a really big one that I like to kind of help people boost, is making sure that they're getting enough water for them. And then making sure, that they're not overeating or undereating, that it's all kind of feels good to them and that their body's kind of working the way that it should be. The next one's that emotional well-being. So, when we're really tired or feeling drained or anxious about something, all of that kind of gives us, like the nervous jitters. It makes us feel a little bit out of alignment. And when I say alignment, that means like everything is functioning as it should be. Like everything feels really good to you. You feel really nourished. Everything's like juicy goodness. So that emotional side is, what's kind of bringing down that or making you feel some of that negative energy. What's kind of draining for you? What's causing you to feel really tired? And really tuning into that. So I come, very intuitively. I feel like we already know the answers. You know, sometimes we need like a little nudge, but our body typically knows what's going on before our mind even does, if that makes sense. That's how I feel. And so getting really in tune with the core of where those emotions come from can be life-changing. It can be huge. So that's a really, really big hotspot. So the next one after that is relationships. So that includes, you know, of course, your spouse, if you're married or you have a boyfriend. It includes your family, grandparents, your friends, but also a big one that it includes is your relationship with yourself. And I think I always ask women that I work with, like, where are you on your totem pole? And 8 times out of 10, they're at the bottom. Is where they put themselves. You know, they have all this other stuff that they have to worry about. They have to worry about their kids or running the household or making sure that they have a paycheck or, you know, making sure their husband is happy and, you know, all this stuff that they end up being at the bottom of the totem pole. And it's really, really hard to, one, be in alignment, but also feel really nourished and feel really satisfied when you're at the bottom of your list. And so really nurturing that relationship with yourself. So all the self-love, you know, giving yourself time, because when you're at the bottom of your totem pole, you're not giving yourself any time, hardly.
Absolutely.
Like right?
I mean, you definitely need to love yourself and take care of yourself in order to love and take care of others.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a huge one for me, is that relationship with yourself. I feel like, you know, when you're fully confident in who you are, you fully have that acceptance, you know, of who you are, what you believe, what you're doing, then everything else just kind of falls into line. And that's beneficial and it's amazing and it's great. Yourself, for me, should come first. And then once you're fully fulfilled, your love tank is full from all your self-love, your self-acceptance, all of that. Then you can really give, you know, you have like this outpouring of love for other people.
Yes, absolutely.
For those around you. And you can love them in a way that they deserve. So after relationships, then it's your career, which is one of my favorites because, you know, I always say that the entrepreneurial journey, so starting your business or, you know, doing something that you have always desired to do, but maybe you've been a little nervous about doing it or scared to, or you're still stuck in that fear. When you do that thing, you know, whatever it is, maybe it's not running a business. Maybe it's you really want to learn how to paint or how you want to go skydiving or, you know, something like that. But when you get out of that feeling of stuckness and that feeling of fear and you step up and you're like, this is who I am, this is what I desire to do, this is what I want, then that's kind of where all the magic happens. So that career aspect really affects so many people because so many people, I think there was a study, I'm going to quote it wrong. I know I am. But it was an extremely high percentage of people who were really dissatisfied. I want to say it was like 80% of people who were really not satisfied in the career that they had chosen. And that dissatisfaction in a career, you know, someplace where you're spending over 8 hours a day at however many hours that is per year, that dissatisfaction probably doesn't just stay at the workplace. You're going to find it, you know, in how you're nurturing yourself and how you're treating those around you and how your emotional state is. You know, it's going to kind of trickle. So what I really like is that career aspect and helping people kind of get unstuck and getting into a place that feels really good to them. And then that last portion is the spirituality. So your connection to something greater. And, you know, whatever that is to you. Everyone, you know, there's so many different religions and beliefs and things like that. But I think having a core belief that, you know, it's not just you in this lifetime. You know, there is something greater out there. There is a, you know, and having that connection with that. So whether that means involving meditation, involving prayer, involving, you know, mindfulness practices, things like that, having something there, you know, that belief can just be really grounding. And I think when we're feeling really out of alignment, we're not grounded. And so having something that you can kind of turn to and kind of, you know, pull you in and be like, no, it's okay. Like, you're fully supported. This is how, you know, everything's going to be okay. That sort of thing. I think that's really, really important.
There's so many other religions out there. So whatever my listeners are, I'm personally Christian. So that's huge to me, is when the days I'm feeling overwhelmed or the days that I'm questioning anything, my career, my kids being crazy. I mean, it could be anything. It's nice to go back to the Bible and read that everything's going to be okay and really go back to the foundation of my beliefs. And so it really is relaxing, and it's kind of my escape place.
Yeah, definitely. So having something like that, the Bible is huge, like something that you can turn to for like a instant kind of calming. If meditation's your thing, then having a certain time of day where you do that, or when you feel like you're feeling that bubbling of stress or anxiety, then you have something to kind of turn to kind of calm that mind. But that's huge. That's a big nourishing thing that I think everybody should have.
Absolutely, and it's so much mental too. It just helps you mentally because, I've read studies over studies over studies about how just thinking positive and thinking into your spirituality and that positiveness will just literally heal you from the inside out.
Yes. Yeah. I love this book. It's by Lissa Rankin, and she was a former doctor. She delivered babies and all that. And now she's very holistic. And so it's kind of her journey there. But her evidence of stories and clients that she's worked with, just from like the power of the mind to heal different, diseases and things like that, is just amazing. It's amazing. It's the coolest thing.
I love those. But I love those for 5 hotspots. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
I wanted to talk about, you told me before we started recording, is your fibromyalgia. And that you have it, but you are able to maintain it naturally. And I want to scream to you, go girl! But can you tell us what fibromyalgia is and how do you maintain it naturally?
Yes. Typically how fibromyalgia kind of comes about is after, a series of a lot of stress, or it could be like a trauma to the body or a bad infection, something like that. But usually your body is under some sort of stress. What happened with me was I had mono, which, is super exciting. It's a nice, infection. And so my body was, very tired, and I only took, I think, a week or two. I was in college when it happened. I didn't take enough time off of college to really sleep it off and kind of nurture myself and take my medicine and all that stuff. And so I didn't give myself that time. So my body was already really stressed. I went back to school, which I was extra stressed. And then a year later, I had a tumor removed from my head, and I hemorrhaged after that surgery. And so my body, within 2 years was under crazy, crazy stress. And about 8 months after all of that was when the fibromyalgia was diagnosed. And basically what happened was I went to a rheumatologist and I said, I don't know what's going on. Like, my muscles are kind of like, I hurt all the time. I have headaches all the time. I'm always in a bad mood. Like, what is going on? And he did, like the muscle testing thing that they do for fibro. And he was like, have you heard of this? And he slaps down like a 20-page booklet that tells me all about fibromyalgia. And I was like, intuitively, I was like, I was pretty sure that's what it was, because I had done a lot of research and everything. And he was like, this is what you have. And he wrote me out 7 prescriptions. And, they were anticonvulsants, antidepressants, muscle relaxers, a nice little mix of 7 different ones. And I look at my mom, because she was in the room with me after he handed me all the prescriptions. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And the doctor looked at me and he was like, there's no cure. You're going to have it for the rest of your life. Get comfy with these medicines. And he left. And I was like, oh, snap, this is not good. And so immediately I was like, I have a choice right now. Either I can give into this and be like, this is going to be my life. I'm going to be stuck on these pills for the next however many years until I die. Or I'm going to be in chronic pain, and avoiding the medicine, which I hated medicine at the time anyways. And I was like, what are my options? Like, what am I doing? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And so I went home. I didn't take one of those pills. I didn't take one. And instead I was online like all the time. I had insomnia really bad because that typically comes with fibro. So I was online all the time trying to figure out, holistic things that could really help me, and supplements and herbs and things like that. It was kind of a hit or miss for a really long time. I kind of had to intuitively feel out what was working for my body, what wasn't working, and everything I did was all natural. So they were all natural supplements and vitamins and things like that. And so I found a system that really worked and made me feel really good. I try to do it. Like, I am not the best at taking pills, but I used to be really, really good at it. But I take concoction that works for me, which I'll tell you what it is in a second. But I take it every day, and the days that I don't take it, I'm okay. And then, if I skip a few days, then I'm in a lot of pain. So as long as I stay on my, natural regimen, I'm good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so that was like a huge thing for me because it was really me stepping out and being like, oh my gosh, like I fully have control over my body. I don't have to rely on synthetic pain meds.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, is this also what encouraged you to go get certifications in holistic and integrative medicine?
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. I actually have my coaching certification in holistic health coaching. From that, I kind of navigated. I really like the business side, but health is like a huge thing for me because, when I don't feel good, nobody feels good because I'm in a bad mood. So
that's just so awesome that you were able to do that because I love that people will take control of their health and they don't just rely on doctors all the time, and they really take charge. And I just love that about people.
Yeah, it was totally a life-changing moment when I found, what was working for me. Because before that, I was just like, I was in pain all the time. I was really, not in a good place. It was really hard on me. And so finding that was huge. So, what I found for me, I had done, like with fibro comes a bunch of stomach issues and headaches and, pain, of course. And then, your mood's not great because you hurt all the time. And, so it's kind of not fun. Like there's a bunch of stuff.
Sound like it.
No, there's a bunch of stuff going on that you kind of have to figure out, okay, this works for this works for this, and kind of piece it together. So what I found for me, one of the biggest things was a supplement, and it's 2-in-1, so it's one capsule, and it's flaxseed and evening primrose together, and so that's your omegas. It's your omega-3 and your 6, and they're mixed together. And what that does is it's kind of like the juice of your body. So it helps with like your joint pain. It helps with your muscle aches. It was huge. And I think if I could only live on one supplement, like if I only had the choice to only take one thing, that would be it. For life.
Yeah, I love flaxseed. Flaxseed's awesome because
yes.
omega-6 can be inflammatory to our body because our Western diet is so high in omega-6 and not enough omega-3. But flaxseed is very high in omega-3, and it's very awesome.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because I was originally just taking evening primrose, and it worked for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it started to make me like really nauseous, and I started to feel bad again, and I was like, what is going on? And it's because I didn't have that balance of omega-3. So yeah, having those, together, the perfect balance in one capsule was really cool. So I really, really love that one. Magnesium is huge. Magnesium keeps my system, it keeps me on a regular sleep schedule. It keeps my digestion normal. It helps with my pain. Magnesium's kind of like a relaxer, so it kind of helps my nerves. It helps everything. That was a big one. Doing like a super B complex, all my B vitamins, especially one that has riboflavin in, so B6. That one was really big. As long as I'm taking that, I don't have headaches. I don't get migraines. It's usually when I'm lax on my supplements that little things like headaches and things pop up. But as long as I'm taking my, my B complex, that's huge for me.
That's awesome. Magnesium. Oh, magnesium is really great, especially if you can put it on your skin. So any type of magnesium butter, our skin is our biggest organ. So it just absorbs magnesium up. So I always love to rub some on after the shower. And my kids will even be like, Mom, it's after the shower, can I get my rub? And I'm like, you just want a massage, but I'll also give you some magnesium.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good for like morning sickness.
Yes, I've heard of that too.
Yeah, magnesium's awesome. Super B complex is great. So another one for like my stomach, I've always had stomach issues even before fibromyalgia. So when I got diagnosed with fibro, like my stomach was, having a moment. So I had to figure out like what I was going to do about it. And I'm really prone to like ulcers. So I grew up, really anxious and worried, and acidity and nervousness kind of gives you ulcers and stuff sometimes.
Stress can really, you can eat super, super, super healthy. And if you have high stress and high cortisol levels, it can negate a lot of that healthy eating that you're doing.
Yeah.
Stress is huge.
So obviously, my body was under a lot of stress for a long time. Plus, on top of the worrier that I used to be, it wreaked havoc like on my stomach. And so I got a few ulcers like back to back. Doctors would put me on, this was before all the natural stuff. They put me on Prevacid, Zycam. Prevacid was one that was like my buddy for a little bit until I turned holistic. And now what I do, like if that ever happens, which is very rare because I'm very rarely stressed or anxious. It's very rare, which is good. But what I do now is a supplement or called Slippery Elm.
Yes, love Slippery
Oh,
Elm. Love it.
my goodness. It was life-changing for me. Anytime I feel like I might have, some kind of stomach thing going on, or, maybe like my stomach just hurts and not digesting right, I'll take 2 Slippery Elm before I eat for like a day or 2 days, and I'm like good to go. And that's, I can't say enough.
I love Slippery Elm. It definitely will help anyone with leaky gut issues as well, because it really keeps the inside of your small intestine. It keeps your tract intact. It helps the mucosal lining actually be healthy and be there. So it's very essential for if you're ever trying to heal your gut.
Mm-hmm.
So what about essential oils? I know that you use them. How do you use them for optimal function?
My goodness. So there's a lot. It's so funny kind of how we got into essential oils. So I had just tippy-toed, into the holistic stuff. Like all my supplements were working really well. I was like, oh my gosh, this natural way of life is no joke, it's really great. And I had bought like one bottle, just a little cheap bottle of lavender oil. Didn't really know like what I was doing with it. I didn't know how to use it or anything like that. And my mom was getting something out of the microwave, and it was like a boiling water. It was like really hot, and it tipped on her hand, both of her hands, and just seared them. Like she was in tears. She's like, oh my gosh, like burnt her hands. Aww. And she was like, Amy, what do I do? And I'm just like, ah. And so, she's running them under the sink and trying to like get the burn feeling off. And they're just, she has tears coming down her face. And I get on Google, and I'm on Google and I'm like, best thing to do for burns. And it like one of the first things I saw was lavender oil. And I was like, interesting, because that's like the only oil that we had at the time. And so I run in and I get the oil and I give it to her, and she, puts it all over her hands. And she said within like a minute, like the burning was lifted. And so she kept reapplying, throughout the night. And the next day there was one tiny little spot on her finger that she had missed, like the oil didn't get, and it was blistered, like really bad. But the rest of her hands that the oil, was on, nothing. Like
wow.
they weren't even red or anything.
I love lavender oil because it's so calming, and it's also really good for mosquito bites to calm that itch.
Yes, yeah. Up here, we're in Kansas City, and there's mosquitoes everywhere in the summer. It's not fun. But I make, my own essential oil mosquito spray, which is really fun. But I have stories like that, like so many stories of, kind of ones that I told you about my mom, similar to that, where they've really, been there when we needed them. And they're, they smell good, which is great. And,
absolutely. What would be your top 2 essential oils outside of lavender?
Top 2 outside of lavender. Okay. So Thieves essential oil. Especially right now, we've had a lot of people in and out of our house who have been sick, with like the cold and stuff that's been going around. Mm-hmm. And I have my diffuser like going with Thieves all the time. And neither of us have gotten sick. Nothing. Like we feel fine. If we ever feel like maybe we're coming down with maybe a little something, we'll put it on the bottom of our feet. I love eucalyptus. If I do get sick, it helps me breathe. Opens up the sinuses, which
definitely is really good.
Really awesome. Oh my gosh.
Sinuses.
Yeah, that's not my top 2. I just remembered my other one. I'm sorry. So Thieves is like number 1, and then the next one right under that is Clary Sage.
Yes, love it for women and hormones.
Yes, it is the best. They're very helpful. That's a whole other story. They're very helpful. I love Clary Sage for ladies. Check it out.
Absolutely. And it also will boost any libido, so any sex drive issues. Mm-hmm. Clary Sage is really great on.
It's awesome.
So anyway, but thanks so much for joining me. I had so much fun. We could talk forever, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Can you let our listeners know where they can find you?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on here. I agree. We could talk forever. I love this holistic stuff. Yeah, you can find me at soulpaintco.com. It's soulpaintco.com. You can check out my podcast on iTunes. It's the VIP Lounge, and there's like a little yellow icon with my face on it. That's how you know it's me. And then you can, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, all that fun stuff, and all of it's under Soul Paint Co. So yeah, come connect with me.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you again for coming.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
I love Amy's upbeat personality and her excitement with holistic natural remedies. She is so great. Make sure to go connect with her over on her social media accounts, and I will link them in the show notes. If you are interested in any one-on-one nutrition consultations or group programs, find us at www.thrivalnutrition.com and contact us under the Contact Us tab. Also find us on Facebook and Instagram under Thrival Nutrition and Twitter under @Thrival_Orlando. Please leave us a review and rating on iTunes. I'd love to hear your feedback. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in.